You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean Johnson.
The AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Bar Rescue After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Bar Rescue After Show.
Hello, everybody. Bing is for doing. We're here doing Season 3, Episode 4, called Tears for Beers. I am your host, Phil Svitek, and loving this music. I promised you Krisily Kennedy would be back, and back she is.
Thank you.
And again, this week we have Keven Undergaro.
Very, very excited, of course, to be here as always.
And I'm trying to think of the right adjective, very passionate, very fun, Dorinda Barker.
Hi, everybody.
There's got to be better adjectives. I'll think of better ones.
You know, it's funny that they don't have a theme song, so maybe we should steal some of their incidental music.
Yeah, they have really good incidental music.
Or maybe we get a classic, the crashing of the glasses.
We just break a glass every week.
Maybe we could do that, too. No, I have a great song that I'm going to bring in next week. That is going to be the Bar Rescue theme song.
Okay.
John's going to be watching, so you better pick
I know,
one.
so a week after.
No one wants to get yelled at by JT.
No.
All right, let's
Actually, you know what? No, I wouldn't mind, because you know what? We want to get better. So if he's got something, I want to hear it.
Okay. Well, let's get into first impressions of the Brixton. Totally new episode in the sense of a couple as bar owners. And what was your guys' first impression of this bar?
Before we give our first impressions, I just want to make sure everyone uses their inside voices tonight.
Oh, my God.
You have to use your inside voices.
All right, I'll try.
Okay.
Just to get that out.
It might be hard for Dorinda. by the way.
Okay, so yeah, in the bar we it's not a sports bar, so we were clear on that.
No.
Yelling. It's a bar. Okay, interesting. I don't know, and it's a punk bar, so that it's punk themed, but there's no yelling.
There was a few reviews that it's a great place to watch sports games, or at least soccer games. I read from a few reviews from friends that apparently go to the bar.
Don't ask the bartender to turn the TV on.
I didn't. My biggest problem was I didn't understand what it was.
It's a punk bar with no music, so there's no punk music.
You can only order beer.
Yes, in a shot. But that's a straight shot, not something that you have to mix.
And what is there to do? That was my biggest problem of it. Yeah, it's small. It looks weird. But what do you do there?
To me, when they pulled up and they went inside, it was like your local dive bar that you would just kind of go with your friends and hang out. And you don't go to watch the game. You don't go for the entertainment. You just kind of go because it's the bar down the street to go to. And that was my first impression of the bar completely. It's just your dive bar.
But nobody was there.
No one was there.
And now, well, this isn't necessarily first impression, but for you disagreed with the couple as being as argumentative as they were.
Yeah, you had very strong first impressions, and
Yeah.
and as you know, as always, I qualify it. I know you have a lot of fans, but for any of you fans who don't know, Krisily is a reality star herself. So I love deferring to you. Yeah, but I love deferring to you on this because you would have a better take than us, because I didn't have this take, but from what you said, it made sense.
I felt like the couple aspect of it, I enjoyed watching John kind of do the marriage counseling a little bit and going in. But for the couple aspect of it, I feel like this was a couple that saw the show and said, let's create a problem other than our bar failing. Like, our marriage is failing because the bar is failing. And I felt like they were such a turnoff this episode, and they were acting out. Like, it's almost like they had the scenes in their head. Like, we're going to do this, and then you're going to be the bad guy, and then I'm going to be the bad guy, and then we're going to cry together. It just felt the couple felt like bullshit this week. Can I say that? Sorry.
Well, you said it.
Sorry. Yes.
Does anyone agree with her or disagree?
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly because even when they were fighting behind the bar, it wasn't even real. It was almost like, okay, he steps behind the bar, time to start a fight.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. And when they were outside, I felt the same way. I was like, well,
I felt the fight behind the bar. Because she just became a different person. She went from being
Yeah.
this really sweet girl to really beating him up in front of other people, and it looked to us. I was watching it with my girlfriend. We were under the impression that she let the power go to her head. But now hearing your thing,
But
I don't
wait,
know.
because if you watch the beginning of the episode, Tim, the guy who told customers that they couldn't order a drink that they wanted, do you think that he would allow her to talk to him that way all of a sudden? Never. So it was a complete, for me, it felt like complete acting. Like all of a sudden he needed to take the back seat and she was going to be the mean guy because he was the mean guy first, and then the viewers would love them at the end. It just felt totally contrived between them.
Okay, but John did get a letter from a friend that said the couple went in the back and fought.
Oh yeah, I don't disagree that happens, but I just think that they contrived a lot of the stuff for within each other before the episode.
If that's true, I don't, and I know you don't either. I don't blame Bar Rescue. I'm actually really pissed off at them.
I don't think
and I feel bad because I really think it struck a chord with John because he had went through it and he gave the alarming statistics of an 82% divorce rate. And I partner with my girlfriend on a lot of business ventures, and I was like, oh boy. But it meant a lot to him, and if they took advantage of him for that, then you know what, shame on them. I think that's just gross.
And I don't think it's on the production side at all, because being on a reality television show, I know what editors can and can't do and how they can manipulate situations, and I've never felt in any way, shape, or form in any of these episodes that they're manipulating situations. They're definitely showing us the best and the worst because that's what gives us the picture of the broad spectrum, because they can't show us everything. But I don't feel like production manipulates it. I think this couple manipulated the situation.
Yeah, and on top of that, with having John went through that with his first marriage, and he seemed upset about it. When he was talking to him, he really did seem upset about it. I don't think he would have went through all this if it was a scam, because John's not that way.
No.
Nowhere
and
near
he
that.
can have his pick of how many thousands of bars in this country you guys want John Taffer to walk in with his army and give them a facelift.
Yeah.
So,
and I was saying this before, I wondered if the show actually looked at the bar's financials beforehand, because
But
obviously
I don't think
would.
they could have been that great. I mean, you really
I don't think this was a successful bar.
Yeah. I mean,
right. No, I don't.
They
I
really
agree.
weren't. I mean, for me, I think they're delusional in many ways. If he really was bartending after a year and a half, someone has to say, like, dude, you just don't belong behind the bar. Just do anything else.
I mean,
clean.
Your
Do
first,
something.
your first. So you're getting into just first impressions. So that was yours. My first impression was, again, this is probably a guy who likes to drink. And now if what you say is true, Krisily, then I have no problem saying this. But I think that guy belongs on the other side of the bar. He's supposed to be sitting at that bar, talking like a know-it-all, working a job in the civilian world 8 hours a day. Of that 8 hours, he puts in probably 2.5 hours between personal phone calls and Facebooking and things like that, but yet knows it all and is supposed to be getting paid a lot more for what he does. And is supposed to show up at that bar at 6 and be with all the other bar regulars and the other his fellow vampires and basically sit there and know it all. But for this guy to actually own the bar and be in that position is crazy. I mean, I've been in that position, and back in the carny business, and I knew I wasn't good with customers, so I purposely said, "Hey, I'll do the lumping, the hauling." And I told you guys when I did 2 years of bartending, I was fast and I was clean and I organized and I did all the heavy stuff for the girls, but there were just people that were so personable and charming with the people, and I would put them out there and I would do what I could to kind of shovel coal onto the fire to keep the caboose going. So, but this guy's attitude to me. Your inside voice, and just some of his responses to John's guys when they came in, I was stunned. Your bar's empty.
Let's also. I want to talk about he was a marketer for a Fortune 500.
Oh, that's a whole other thing. So that's another impression.
Yeah, I can't.
Really
he can't market himself or his bar.
Okay, so
that's what I didn't get.
But I think, I mean, he looks fairly young. Right, and I would say at the oldest, late 20s. I think he definitely got fired, and I see my pet peeve is there's so many people coming up that are quote social media experts, and that's a department of marketing.
Again,
he's a wannabe hipster.
I'm formulating this, and so one of the things that I like, if you want to disagree with me, and I mean this by Tim, feel free. This is an open forum, so I'm willing to discuss this with you, and you can have your say. But from what I got from the show, you got fired, and you weren't that great at it.
Well, because he's a wannabe hipster who his friend owned the bar before him, and he wanted to be cool around the guys that he knew and own the bar and give free drinks. And he wanted to be the cool
By the way,
girl.
here's why
what
I
I say.
the name
He's
Brixton.
supposed to be sitting outside, sitting at the bar,
Right.
not working the bar.
The bar was established 2009, and he talks about the history of the
Yeah,
bar.
history can't give that up, baby. That's 3 years. That's a
Wannabe.
lifetime. How long is that in bar years? Yeah, but again,
is
this
a long
but
time,
this speaks to
actually.
how again, the person I'm watching this keeps saying, "Oh my God, total failure, total failure." They just keep saying this about this guy. I'm not surprised that he worked in marketing and was that bad, because all I've ever dealt with in marketing, in PR, and now even in show business, because we're spread so thin. There's so many people working in the business because we have all these digital channels. We have 500 cable channels, how many satellite channels, that we just have so many pretenders and so many clowns in these positions masquerading as the. So to me, I was not at all surprised that he was that much of a doofus. And where he actually thought that this is the spin, where we are so self-deprecating. Yeah, that's why we're just so cool. And
What? Can you guys describe the marketing behind the Brixton? Because
Not if you look at their Facebook
it's not a
page.
sports
There
bar.
wasn't
It's
any
not.
marketing.
There's dirty underwear
Underwear,
hanging out of garbages on
birth
their
control
Facebook.
pills.
They're uniquely their own. What does that
What
even
kind of
mean?
marketing is that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very disappointing.
again,
Dorinda, what are your first impressions?
Well, first of all, he made Lyle look amazing. Smile Lyle from last week.
oh,
I was like, he's a god.
and especially talking to Lyle.
Yeah, exactly.
Last
And all
weekend.
this stuff. And there's no way being behind the bar for a year and a half, even if it is your bar, you know how to make certain drinks. You know how to do that. If not, get out behind the bar and have someone else do it. I was just so angry. And then when they asked for, what was it, a martini? And it was awful. How does someone...
Did you see John? He was in physical pain. His reaction when they shook the martini. He cringed. I loved it.
He had such a problem with it. I mean, I like a shaken martini. That's just
And
me.
if you're in a
I get
nightclub,
it. In your nightclub, I
It's
get
busy.
it.
You shake it quicker.
Yeah,
But
it's just,
there's nobody else at the bar.
Yeah.
Here's my problem. Here's my problem with tonight. A lot of these bars that we see on the show, they don't know how to make drinks.
Blown away by this.
But
but
they knew how to make drinks.
That I loved it.
You know, there was
Capital
someone to
letters,
teach
good
you.
bartenders. I can't believe we finally had
They
bartenders,
had great bartenders.
pass the test.
Yeah.
Other than the owner.
and what was just so tragic, and again, you know, my girlfriend's saying the same thing. We both welled up with tears for the workers. They love the bar so much, and they love their jobs. They need their jobs, and that's what you have. There's your fearless leader.
Yeah, and that was a conversation we had last night, was why would you stay? Like, why do these people... I said, well, you don't understand when you're in this business, and Krisily, you know also, when you're in the bar business, restaurant business, you become a family.
Right.
And it becomes this thing, and you want to stay with these people, and you want... For some reason, you want the business to work just as much as the owner does, or doesn't want it to work. You might want it to work more. And so that, I think,
But
you
I
can
bet,
feel
but
with
you know
those
what?
girls.
That's so civilian when people, because I've heard that. Oh, just leave. Really? Okay, because you know what, Krisily, you're a star with a following, 10 years of bartending experience. How easy is it in LA with all the bars here for you to get a job?
I haven't found one in
Thank
7
you.
months.
So of course people aren't going to leave their jobs. I love it.
It's
In the
hard.
worst economy and unemployment, arguably since the Depression, of course people aren't going to leave their jobs.
And especially in a place like that, most of their business is probably regulars.
Right.
A bar like that is going to be built on regulars. And so when you have your regulars and they're comfortable in their bar, they're not going to follow you to another bar. So if that's where your money is, you're not going to leave whether your manager or owner is stupid or not. Trying to choose my words wisely. Sorry. I had to think about that one.
Okay, so if there's shenanigans with the husband and wife, let's assume that they staged our marriage is breaking up over this bar, then do we still believe that Tim was what we've said he is, which is a total failure, and that she was happy, positive, sunshine committee with the customers.
I think to a
Do
degree,
we believe that?
you can't. You can only fake it to a certain level. You know,
They weren't good actors either. Like you.
Okay, but
even
answer
when
my
she
question.
tried
So
to
I
be
get
mean,
that. I get that with them not getting along, but at their core, we see her as someone who's positive, happy to deal with the customers, was really into making people happy, and we saw him for what he is. Were they faking that as well?
No, I think that she definitely is the positive person behind the bar when she's there, and I think he's definitely the guy with his arms folded, like you want a beer and a shot of Jack because that's all you get. I feel like that was very true to them.
Okay.
Yeah, and she was great.
She was a good bartender.
I actually enjoyed watching her work because she really did have a good work ethic. She knew what to do. Even the other girls, he just didn't care.
No.
And that was the part I think really when watching her, it just got her so angry because it was just chasing people out of the bar, as we saw when they came in for the recon and they came in for the stress test. He was the one chasing people out of the bar.
Yeah.
All right, so
and for me, I know most people in life are not successful, and I just know a lot of people like him, and that's why it's so frustrating to watch.
I mean, there was a description. I don't know where I read it, but it did look. The outside of it looked like a crack house.
Yeah.
Yeah, they said it in the intro when John pulled up.
Yep.
With Peter.
All right, so let's move on to the stress test. Because I always enjoy these, and for me, I really love how John made her in charge of the bar. And reverse those kind of roles. And again, it just baffles me that they couldn't understand that Tim's role was not behind the bar.
I think that John knew that. He was just trying to show it to them. Yeah. And that's where I kind of lost my viewing. Normally with these episodes, I'm like glued to the TV. I can't wait for the commercials to end. And that's where I lost my interest, was when the stress test happened and all of a sudden he's trying to be the good bartender and trying to make the drinks, and she's screaming at him in front of everybody because she's learned that she's not supposed to yell in front of people. And now all of a sudden she's become this badass that's mean, and they completely did a role reversal, and he's smiling and he's waiting on the customers, and she's all of a sudden being the mean person, and she looked stupid, and she looked worse than he did, because at least for him it felt true to character. And when she was doing it, that's when I almost lost interest in the episode.
Yeah, because the whole time she's been Miss Mary Sunshine, and she's the one who knows exactly what to do, and then all of a sudden she blows up at him. That would be the time that you ignore the situation and you just keep going. And
you tell him we're bringing in the girls. You know what I mean? Because those girls were good bartenders.
Yeah, they really were.
They were great. Well, again, shenanigans, if those two were in cahoots on shenanigans, shame on them. All John got for information was, I have a mean and belligerent bartender, so this is my chance to teach him a lesson.
Yes.
Where he's going to now learn. And by the way, if you go to a good shrink keeps you talking and leads you to the water.
Right.
Doesn't tell you, okay, really, here's the problem in your life, Phil. He gets you talking till you have the realization, say, oh, wait, I get it now. That's a breakthrough. So when John put him behind the bar, it was, well, he's been bartending a year and a half. Clearly, he thinks he's a bartender. Clearly, that's how they do their business. I can tell him till I'm blue in the face. Let's put him with a real crowd.
Right.
And let's watch him fail, and then maybe he'll learn on his own. She'll learn on his own. Okay, I get it now. I'm not supposed to be bartending.
This is usually
no
my
fault
favorite
on
part.
John.
No fault on John or the production team at all. The stress test is usually my favorite part, because it shows you who the weakest links are and who needs the most work and who they need to kind of focus on. And it's usually my favorite part of the episode. And we knew that Tim was the weakest link from the beginning.
Well, was he starting to realize, according to your theory, Kevin, when he had to get the drinks from the people and they were like, this is terrible, can you get me new ones?
He knew. He knew when he was doing during the first impression, when Pete came in to teach them how to make drinks, and he mimed making the drink.
Right.
You're an SOB. You're just you think you're being funny. You're just an ass. Like, someone's coming in and doing this for you, and so I think when he goes behind the bar, at that point he's just like, yeah, whatever. Oh, I get it. I go with the program. I'll make some drinks. If I make them, great. If I can't, whatever.
And that was the thing. Like, John even told him before they even started making the drinks, is like, you need to buck up. You need to do this. This is your bar. This is your livelihood. This is your family. And then when he got behind the bar, when Peter was giving him all those great drinks. And he did. It was so. I wanted someone to hit him.
Yeah.
I really want. I don't condone violence at all, but I mean, I really I wanted someone to hit him.
You guys,
Yeah.
I tell you, every week I want to hit these people. Every week, because I'm going to tell you right now, there's so many people out there suffering right now. No one's working. Businesses, private businesses. It's terrible out there right now. And in the bar business, so many more people are online listening to AfterBuzz. But still, they're Facebooking, they're doing things like that. They're not being as social and going out. You go to these malls, they're empty. Not a good time. And so when you have your Santa Claus in the form of John to come in here, it makes me ill. It makes me sick to my stomach.
That's I think what bothered me the most is not, and I could be wrong, but I'm almost positive that John is a very good friend of my old bar from back East's owner, John, as well. And he used to come in and visit often, and he would sit and talk to us, and a lot of the stuff that was brought into our bar was brought in because John Taffer told John Reedy, let's try this, let's do this will bring in more money. So to know him and know how passionate he is about what he does, and how, yes, it's a television show, yes, they want viewers, but at the end of the day, he does this because he loves what he does. And so to see people take advantage of that, that's where I was like, I'm done. Like, when you don't want to listen to somebody who's giving you gold, he's handing you money because he's giving you the tools to make more, and you want to be a jerk, like, I get angry.
I just want to, I have so much to say on this show.
Well, could I say that this is jumping a little bit ahead, but when he was talking about all these other people, all they do is come to work, they make drinks, they do this, and he was giving a long.
He's like, all they care about is making more money in tips, which means they're gonna make more money for your bar.
Of course, you idiot! I'm sorry. That really that wasn't my inside voice, but my point being.
That was it. Okay, good.
Damn you!
Thank goodness.
That was the whole thing. You want your bartenders to make money, because if they make money, you make money.
Happy. It trickles
success
down.
begets success. Oh, what a great idea!
But it again speaks to my point that he should be sitting at the bar complaining with all the riffraff.
Right.
By the way, your bar regulars, we can romanticize it like Cheers at the end of the day, but your actual regulars are generally a bunch of vampires, miserable people that go there. Alcohol is a depressant. It brings you down. There are some of us that can go and we socialize. It's a lot of fun. And then there are people where it's actually a drug, and they're sitting there all day, and they're the biggest sourpusses. And I always say, when you're getting advice from the guy in the bar stool, what do I always say, Phil?
He just wants to keep you there.
That's his job, is to keep you on that bar stool. So if you're telling him about your dreams or things you want to do, you're not going to get anything positive out of him. His job is to keep you on that stool next to him in misery with him. Well, and that's where that guy
usually
belongs.
Pick out anytime you start complaining.
And the guy last week belonged there too, by the way. He, the guy from 2 weeks ago. No, Spellman. Yeah, the 2 weeks ago. He belonged there too. But there's Sir Richard Wentworth, our announcer here, said something to me a long time ago, because I get frustrated like John. John consults for bars for free. I consult for people's careers and their brands. It's no secret what I've done with Maria, and then before that, Jenny McCarthy, Carmen Electra. I've specialized in getting people to start them out at the beginning of their careers, diversify them, bring them along. And so at AfterBuzz, we have a lot of hosts that I meet with. I'll spend an hour with them. We go over a whole plan. I create a pie chart and we look at every aspect, their talents, their goals, what we can do. And I get so frustrated when some of the hosts go and they'll meet with me, get an hour out of my time, and they come back to me a month later and say, okay, I'm ready to meet again. I say, okay, well, what about all the ideas I gave you to execute? Oh no, I didn't do those, but now I have new ideas. And don't listen to anything I say. And it's frustrating, but what Richard Wentworth said, he said, Kevin, you know what? People, the only lessons we learn from are the ones we pay for. We don't learn from free lessons. So it's either the ones we pay for with cash, or we pay for them through our mistakes and our failures. And then on top of it, when you're dealing with an addict or something like that, or somebody's stubborn, or someone who, in my girlfriend's world, is a total failure, then they just keep making those mistakes over and over again, and you just gotta walk away. But I feel for John. We get great entertainment, and we learn from what John's doing. We apply his stuff here at AfterBuzz. But I see it in my own life. It's frustrating, and my girlfriends always say, Kevin, they're not meant to be there. They're not meant to be successful. Why are you wasting your time? John at least is on a TV show.
Post rescue.
Yes, yeah. So you're truly right.
That'd be great. Host rescue. Oof.
Host rescue. Oh my goodness.
So many vampires in this business.
God, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I was gonna talk about iTunes and rating and commenting.
It'd be nice to get some.
It would.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, if anything, you guys can like shout out to Krisily and Dorinda.
Someone did, I have to laugh, someone did on the Brixtons Facebook say, well, you guys should talk to AfterBuzz TV about your experience. And so they're listening and they love us.
Which is fantastic.
So go on iTunes and tell us how much you love us and give us 5 stars.
5, baby.
5. I want 5.
You know what's nice?
Pretend it's Krisily on Sons of Anarchy. This is what we get. All
we
5s.
Get 5s.
What I will say, I do want to take the time to thank those of you who we got some amazing emails from a lot of you last week.
Yeah, that was great.
That was great.
Yeah, because I wasn't here.
That's
they
not
loved
the
it
reason
so much. I'm
why.
just kidding. I'm
That's
so
not
just kidding.
true.
I'm so just kidding.
No, we know.
Just make me feel good. No, I'm just kidding.
That's not the reason why. The emails are nice, but they're not public.
Right.
iTunes is
True.
public.
So yeah.
So we
And,
appreciate that.
and YouTube too, which is always
Oh
nice
yeah,
too.
the YouTube comments are always nice as well.
Yeah.
So,
I feel marketing and planning.
marketing and planning. Let's talk about John's marketing and planning because clearly Tim has nothing.
Nothing. No skills.
And I want to say this. I'm really mad at my staff here because they're like, oh, the Brixton, what a great name. I'm like, but what does it mean? What is the plan? What is the theory? What is the notion?
Okay.
Say what you want about Rocket.
So I'm with you, Phil, but let's hear these guys out first, and I'll respond. Or do you want me to go first? You guys are being quiet.
I'm never quiet.
All right, go.
I believe in the rebrand, remarket, redo to make money. I totally believe that. I've never not liked the name change in any of the episodes that I've seen. This was the first one that I actually liked the name The Brixton better. There's just something about it that I like. And I don't think that Tim didn't want to change it because of the history. I think that he didn't want to change it because of his friends. But when all said and done, I actually like the name The Brixton, and it's somewhere that I would be like, hi, I might want to check that place out. There's just a ring to it.
Here's the problem. It had many bad reviews. And I could tell you from... is my mic weird? Can you guys hear me okay?
No? Sorry.
Just me? All right.
That's your head.
It probably is. Marissa Serafini here, our engineer who's engineering right now, she does Once Upon a Time. And for the first season of that whole after show, it wasn't done properly and they got a lot of negative reviews.
Right.
And if they could just change that name and basically have a fresh start, they would have 5 stars. But they can't because, it's Once Upon a Time and you can't change that because we're married to that brand. And so...
But they did completely, to Marissa's credit, revamp the show. They just worked so hard on it, and if we just looked at their ratings, it's probably 4.5, 5 stars, easy.
Yes.
So they brought us out of the gutter. Thank you, Marissa.
What's that? We can't hear you.
We're still at 3.5.
Yeah, but that's because you guys had 1 or 2.
Because the old ones
the
are
old
so...
ones brought you down.
It's kind of like in high school if you want to be...
But the point is, if you can get rid of that bad stigma, do it. I.e. the Brixton.
Yeah, but once again, the name that they came up with, I didn't think held up to the Brixton. It just wasn't the name. I didn't like the name of it.
So what does Brixton say to you? What is it? What is the vibe? What is the feel?
All right, I watched this episode too. I was one of the staff who said I like the Brixton name only because it sounds like a sophisticated bar. Whereas Rocket 6, whatever, the new name
Are
sounded
these
more...
sophisticated people,
it
Marissa?
sounded more... No, but
you got
the
tatted
the
up
name,
people all over the place.
The
Hey, what's
name
wrong with tats?
sounded more like a club rather than a bar. I just got a club feel from the new name.
All right, are you ready for me to weigh in now?
I think
you guys
so.
had your fun?
And
Go ahead,
Okay,
Keven.
all right. Now, I like the name of the Brixton. I did. But John's coming in. He's getting the information from the bad reviews. He gets that letter from his friend. He feels he's inheriting this brand that has a stink on it. And okay, I'll go to a sports analogy for you guys. At the end of Larry Bird's career, I'll never forget, he was playing a team and it was down to the last few seconds. And if he had scored a 2-point shot, he would have tied the game and sent it overtime. But Bird instead, being Bird, said, F that, I'm going to shoot the 3-pointer and win this game. He shoots the 3-pointer and he misses. And I'll never forget at the time what the coach said. It's like, I don't care if he missed. At the end of the day, I want Larry Bird taking that shot. And I don't want to say, oh, no, you should have went for 2. No, that's Larry Bird. At the end of the day, I want the ball in Larry's hands. I want him taking that shot. So, I'm all in with John. So if that's what John wants to do, and that's what gets me stainless steel and all the great things we'll talk about later in the episode, I am all in. And what I think he did was, it reminded me of the Canyon Inn, where he got the guy playing baseball. He got that stubborn mule, another D-bag that deserved a... Never mind.
He was awful.
Awful. But he knew he liked baseball, and he got him outside, remember? Smashing the signs with the bat. And I remember watching it and saying, oh, my God, John is using this kind of fun little game to have a breakthrough with this guy.
Yeah.
So when he saw the rocket on his arm, he was like, okay, this will get this stubborn guy to feel somewhat emotionally invested. This is something he can own and be excited about. And, if you're driving by and you see the rocket on the roof, and so for me, if I like the Brixton better as a name, but I'm sorry, I want Larry Bird taking that shot at the end of the game, and I want John Taffer telling me, okay, and I'm going all in for John. So that's my thing, and John's making that based on the information he had in front of him.
Yeah, I just, but if he would have took off on 6 and just did the rocket, that could have been better. I just didn't like the name. Just once again, we're going to bring it up, the Pirates episode.
Yes! What time? 31 minutes in the Pirate episode. Oh, I was trying to figure out what the segue was.
I was going to bring it up, and they named it Corporate. And I was like, that's just an awful name. And it just...
And again, Larry's not always going to hit the 3.
Exactly. He's not always going to hit the 3. But if you just called it the Rocket instead of the Rocket on 6, I think it would have had a better ring to it. I just didn't. It was kind of cheesy and schmaltzy to me. That's what I felt when I heard the name. That was.
I'm going to give you a very Hollywood response that you get in a lot of Hollywood meetings with executives because they don't want to get in trouble. The famous line, I don't disagree. There you go.
I like the Brixton. I like the name. Just the name is like, I would go there. Rocket on 6? Probably not.
Nah. Have we lost my mind?
Well,
no.
Well, and again, and I'll say this to you guys. So Rocket on 6 with the bar we ended up with, or Brixton and what it was. I want to go to Rocket on 6, and I want to take Marissa with me. How about that?
I wish we could take a field trip and go there now.
No. We have, you guys. I want to do. I hate the hell. I want to be like a lot of these people in the bars who do nothing. But wouldn't it be great if we did a bar rescue road trip and we just
that would be amazing, and we could film it, and it would be awesome, and it would be like a documentary, and I would love it.
Right? We'd have so much fun, but unfortunately, we all have jobs.
I mean, I don't.
All right, Chrissy.
Unfortunately.
Well, all right.
I'm looking for one if anyone out there needs me.
We could do it on weekends.
Totally.
Anyway, but I can't wait. Listen, I can't wait now that we're really all sewn in as a group. When we go to LA, when the LA bars, we do some LA bars.
Oh, I'm so excited for those.
There's a couple ones that are coming up. I want
to try the new drinks.
We either go as a field trip or we broadcast there live, whatever. One of them,
Oh, either or. I hope we can broadcast live because I think that would be great.
We need security though because we're not so.
I was just gonna say,
positive.
but then if we can't, then we have to be careful of our opinions. So maybe it should be a field trip.
Field trip.
And we just show clips.
Undercover.
People will be throwing stuff at us.
Yeah. Here's what I will say about Rocket Room 6 when I actually do like it. It's because, again, that place looked like a crack house. And now when you're driving by it...
You see the big rocket, which is a great sculpture. Yeah, I agree. It looks really cool on the outside.
Really cool. Let's get into the drinks because I know this is one of the things that Dorinda wants to talk about. And, I love the idea of the infusion. But then the beer cocktails.
I've never heard of beer cocktails.
Yes,
been
beer
around
cocktails.
Since 1695.
Yes.
Flip.
Did not learn that in bartending school.
No, well, I didn't either. Like when bartending all the years I did, it was never a thing. And then just recently, in the past couple years, the beer cocktails have been coming up, and I just love the Launchpad, Guinness and champagne, 2 of like my favorite things. Put them together. I never thought about it. That's just amazing. Amazing. And there's like the Bucks Black, which had Johnny Walker Black, Grand Marnier, and the cream de cacao, and Guinness Head. So it's like a layered drink. It was.
By the way, they
beautiful.
looked beautiful.
They looked
the glasses
fantastic.
were crazy good.
Yes.
As
Just
a
the shape of the
bartender,
glasses.
there's nothing worse than making layered drinks.
Oh, it's
Awful, right?
awful.
Awful. It's such a pain and it takes so much time, but people like them because they're pretty.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, and clearly it's the trend. We know from Mixology when we broadcast there from Dancing with the Stars. Remember all the different drinks fell in the time that was put into them?
Exactly. And here's the thing about those kind of bars, and even I saw this with Mixology. Yeah, they have peak times, but if this place is open from basically 8 p.m. to 2 a.m., or even probably 4 p.m., I believe I saw on certain days. So if you're getting the 4 p.m. to, let's say, 8 or 9 p.m. crowd, especially on a weekday, you can make these drinks easily.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
There's part of me that sometimes agrees with Tim, and I want to work at a bar that just serves beer and whiskey. But my wallet wants to work at the bar where people are getting the layered drinks and the martinis because they're more money and you get more tips. But sometimes I just want to give you a shot of whiskey and say shut up.
Yeah, and I have been that bartender where they're like, "What's your favorite drink to make?" And you are 5 people deep, and I'm like, "Anything I can pop a top to."
Yeah.
And I have
Jack
said
and
that. Exactly.
Yeah.
See, I want to be tutored because I order the lame drinks because I don't know the fancy drinks. I need to be schooled in that.
You know, it's so funny because we're talking about drinks. I went out to dinner with my girlfriend this week and she ordered an old fashioned. I've been a bartender for 10 years and have never had anyone order an old fashioned, nor have I ever seen anyone drink one until this week. It has come up nonstop. All my friends are now ordering
all
them.
over the place.
It was on the episode.
I
was
love the
blown away.
comeback.
And so many people don't muddle it. They don't. They just throw the sugar and the
Yeah,
fruit
because they
and
don't
they
know.
don't
They don't
muddle
know.
it.
They don't
so
know
it
how to do
tastes totally different. And I was just blown away how many times the old
Think of
fashioned
all
has come up.
just think of all the old drinks, the Rusty Nail. And,
Yeah.
right?
That was my first drink I ever learned how to make was a
Rusty
rusty
Nail.
nail.
Hell yeah.
Mine was in Long Island.
There you go.
So, by the way, in this area, there's 56 bars, and so, you know, I always love it when the map comes out. You guys hear me say this about
Oh,
every week.
that's always my favorite part.
And, you know, and so I don't think the Brixton I don't know the bars in this area. I've never been to Austin. So I think Rocket Room 6, again, I'm a fan. I really like what they did. Let's talk about the artist, you know, because that was part of the planning. And
Loved the steel.
that was brilliant.
Beautiful work.
I think
Again,
this is
I'm-
my favorite
And
remodel.
I'm cringing that this guy gets this, international artist to come into his bar.
Yeah.
And I hate it if they conned him this show. It's just it's just so unjust. But anyway, it
But
was amazing,
gorgeous work.
Yeah.
crazy good.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the full remodel. And for John, you know, he had that little soundbite. I don't know if this is true or not, but he said the biggest problem will be getting that outdoor patio to have a nice flow.
Yeah.
And you know, what he ended up doing, I thought achieved it really well. I don't know if it was
So
that stressful
cool.
on him. but-
Genius. And again, 4.5 days, you guys. Are you kidding me? To knock out a wall, it can be done, mind you, but to knock out a wall is one thing. That's not a big deal. You can frame it, still not a big deal. But to custom make a glass garage door, that's not a standard size.
That
No.
when it opens halfway, it shuts off the heating or air conditioning. Like
Tell me
come
that
on.
is not genius.
It's brilliant, and it was so cool to look
It
at.
was, yeah.
was
But you know what? We're gonna keep it the Brixton, guys. We're gonna put your wall back up. I'm gonna rip out the
They
sheet
never
metal.
put the wall back. They
No,
just
no,
changed the
no. You
name.
can't have it all.
Yes,
Sorry.
yes, I can.
You just sent Larry Bird to the bench.
Nope.
No, but here again, to go back and argue for John. Rocket Room 6, for better or worse, has a theme. It's sticking to it, right? You're gonna laugh. There's an old episode of Hey Arnold where they wanted to make a bike really, really cool, and they put so much crap on it. They put cards and horns and all this that eventually it didn't ride like a bike because it wasn't a bike because it had too much crap on it. And that, to me, that's what the Brixton is. They want. It's not a sports bar, but we're this, and they throw so much crap into it that what is it?
It was a dive.
It wasn't a dive.
Are
It
we
was
listen,
nothing.
guys?
It didn't have anything.
I want to personally go and take everything out of there for them if they made this final. And he wants it the Brixton. Have your Brixton back.
I mean, there's the one Brixton logo that they have out front. Now notice the shirts that they're selling online, which is like a skull and a like. There's no thematic branding.
Yeah, man, you just don't get it.
Because he's a cool wannabe hipster.
You know, it'd be like, you know, people have been saying this. What I love about AfterBuzz TV, it has the TV, and it's so symbolic, and you know, eventually it could just become the symbol, and that's how you become known or whatever. And then, you know, eventually, if we got to the place of like the networks, then we could do something cool. Let's say for Christmas, where the zigzags, you know, we change colors, whatever it may be. But we're not at that point. Why? Because no one knows us. So if I start making shirts for people, I can't put a bumblebee because no one knows us as the bumblebee. They know the TV.
Right.
Hopefully.
Right.
Well, I mean, he even had a big deal with the picture painting. They were monkeys.
By the way, Phil, NBC, let's say when in the Peacock years, they're not going to just put out a butterfly. You know, you're supposed to. You want to stay with. Anyway, this guy is not a marketer. He's just a guy that's supposed to be, I'm going to say it again, he's supposed to be sitting at the bar drinking with his buddies and telling his buddies how much better he'd run the bar if he was in charge of it. Because that's what those guys do. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what they do.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of the outside of the patio? Because that was amazing as well.
So nice.
Yep.
Every
I want to hang out there.
And you talk about this, Kevin, too, all the time. You know, again, this was a very, very small space, so I was very worried for John. And the fact that it looks so spacious, just the outdoor patio itself was fantastic.
Yeah.
That was a great use of space.
Yeah.
And opening it up, you know, the glass door and heat. And I mean, it was, once again, and also the chill rail. How great was that?
So freaking cool.
I mean, he pulls rabbits out of his head every week. It's a new trinket that everybody gets.
Yeah.
Oh, I have never seen anything like that before. That was amazing. Like, from being, you know, in that business for so long, and to see those are those things that go,
right.
You get like, and that's exactly what I did when I saw. I was like, why didn't I have that? Like, that's when you miss it.
I remember being in Vegas and seeing one at a bar in Vegas, and I couldn't stop talking to the bartender about it and asking a bazillion questions. The bartender was so annoyed with me, but I was like, oh my God, but that's the coolest thing ever.
It's amazing.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
And then let's talk about the fact that John even figures out a way to get them food. He by the way, subtle touch, popcorn machine. They didn't have that there before to keep them sitting there munching. And again, the episode they probably did just got edited out. But if you notice, now it had a popcorn machine on the bar, and then the food service.
Loved the food service.
Genius. He found the best truck and computer in, and who knows, maybe they even get a percentage of the sale.
Yeah, that was a great idea.
Really great idea.
So smart.
And what's great is they don't have to do it. You know, it's
right.
one thing when you don't have the space, but
you subbed it out.
Exactly.
So smart.
All they have to do is use their iPad.
But you know what? We're taking that away too now that we're going back to Brixton,
Oh,
guys.
stop it.
You know what we'll do? It'll be the Brixton. We're going to rip everything down. And you know what I'm going to do for you guys?
What?
Draw a middle finger on it.
Yes, that's
I
a
was
great
joking about
idea. And we'll throw up a dartboard.
That sounds fun.
Listen,
Right?
I love a good game of darts.
There you go.
Who
so you
doesn't
guys
love a dart
go into the
league?
Brixton to play darts.
Could I tell you a
get
pet
yelled
peeve
at
of mine?
with our inside voices?
I don't want to go to a bar with darts because I mean, 21 and Over is a movie that we just saw, and I just feel a dart's gonna come flying my way. And it's just too dangerous.
It is. It's a weapon.
Just don't turn your back.
Same with the pool stick.
I don't want
They
that
always
near
say
me.
it's
I'd rather go to Rocket Room 6.
Okay, so Phil,
Speaking of movies, I have to say this because you know, I know Kevin. I know you were gonna bring it up because you get bashful every now and then, but Kevin's movie, Adventures of Serial Buddies, he wrote and directed it as well as executive produced alongside with Maria Menounos, who is also one of the stars in it.
and Phil, you produced and edited it as well.
Yes, I did.
It was a family affair.
But I'd rather talk about the amazing stars that are in this and how
Yes.
funny it is. First off, it's the first serial killer comedy.
Serial killer buddy comedy
Serial killer buddy comedy. I always get that wrong.
ever produced. And then we've got Henry Winkler, Kathy Lee Gifford, Artie Lang, Beth Bears from Two Broke Girls,
Love her.
Maria Menounos. Who am I missing? Phil?
There's David Preval from The Sopranos. There's George Mirasan from My Giant. It's introducing a very young Cassidy at the time.
Oh God,
it's
Kathleen's daughter, Cassidy Gifford, and our great young cast of guys from the Groundlings and Improv Olympic, namely Hal Rudnick, Paul Ashton, Gian Molina, and Todd Wilson.
Yes, and very, very funny. I mean, it's...
So where do we find Phil? Where do we even find out where this is playing?
Well,
AMC
theaters beginning March 8th, and go to serialbuddies.com to buy your tickets, and keep checking back in with that website. You'll see when the movie's coming out on iTunes and DVD and things like that. But for now, get your tickets. See it 1,000 times.
It would help us a lot in those select cities. I believe it's if you're in Boston, New York, New Jersey, San Francisco, I'm leaving
Los
places
Angeles?
out. Los Angeles,
Chicago.
Chicago.
Thank you, Marissa. Any of those cities, please go out and support the movie. And then if you go to IMDb and rate and comment, that also helps.
Yeah, and it's funny. You'll get some good laughs out of it.
Oh,
It was
we're gonna get
enjoyable.
now. I've just realized the staff of the owners of the Brixton are gonna kill us. They're gonna hate.
It's
They're
not
gonna,
playing in their theaters.
Oh, good. I don't think that doesn't matter on IMDb.
Yeah.
You know how that goes. Anyway, where are we at now with? So going to current status. Where are we at now with current status of?
Well, we are back to the Brixton.
We're back to the Brixton.
I went on their Facebook page today and tried to bypass the birth control and underwear pictures. And the first comment that I saw that was recent was, yes, we finally have heaters on the patio after 4 years. Thank you. And then the next one, and I can't get it verbatim because my internet isn't working, but the second one was something about enjoying the show in quotation marks and that Santa Claus isn't real either. And they definitely had a bad taste in their mouth for the episode. So then I started to read all the comments under their statuses. And you get the small handful of people that are saying how wonderful Tim and his wife are and how they love the Brixton and they're so glad they went back to the name. But majority of the comments were stating that they thought that it was a fraud, that Tim and his wife had pretended to have marriage problems to get on the show. And that a lot of what we saw as viewers was them kind of pretending things to get this makeover. And when I saw the heater comment, I was like, they wanted a makeover. They wanted heaters. They wanted things that they couldn't afford to do and needed help doing it, so they created a problem.
Then why say Santa Claus doesn't exist? Because
obviously John Taffer is Santa Claus with $90,000 worth of renovations.
Yeah.
Which it was.
And he definitely had a bad taste in his mouth. So then to see the video at the end where he comes back and is super excited about the new name, I was just like, wow, it's such a hoax, because he clearly on his Facebook page wasn't happy with the show. They're getting a lot of hate, not only from viewers of the show, but of people that have been to the bar and they're still saying, you know what, it's not a great bar. You can tell his friends are the ones that are supporting him, which you would always support your friend, but it seems that not much has changed other than the renovations that they got.
Here's what I will give them credit for. They're posting a lot of photos when the bar's full, and they do trivia night and things like that. And so I feel like they invite a lot of their friends to come for this trivia night.
Those photos are old. Those photos are over a year old of the busy bar.
Okay, but even if that was the case, you know, a lot of them are, but there's a few new ones. What's great is that they're taking these photos. I will give them the credit for that. They're taking these photos during those peak hours. You know,
Of course,
posting
they want it to look busy.
Yeah.
He's using his marketing skills for once.
There you go. Well, maybe this whole thing was a marketing.
That's how I feel.
Yeah, this whole thing was his
But
marketing.
you gotta have a good bar for people to want to go to.
Well, you know
now
what?
he has a pretty bar. At least.
Ultimately, I guess you know the laughs on us because, as you say that, you know maybe he's the smartest marketing guy around. If he really created a problem with his wife to get John in there, then you know what? Congratulations, dude, you did it. But I think
But
that's
again,
a pretty
here's my
shitty
thing.
to
If
do.
the laughs not on us, I enjoyed this show. It was a great show. I learned a lot,
Yes.
as I always do.
Always.
Right.
And guess what? I'm not really gonna go to your bar. And if I go there once just to check it out, congratulations, you got $20 of mine if I order
and
that
by
many
the,
drinks.
and also, I am quite underwhelmed by a 17% increase based on all the work that was done in that bar. That's not impressive.
There should
you
be
guys.
so much more.
You know, you need that place. If from what their numbers were, need 200 or 300% increase. You know,
Yes,
and
especially
I think they could at least they could have done better than that. Than 17%.
And she's pregnant now too, so they need to be making more money.
Oh,
And
yeah,
by the way,
she's
congratulations! You took the one positive thing out of that bar for pregnancy. That's all right, Tim. My boy Tim will hold it down. Phil, you did call him, but he didn't respond.
He didn't respond. Well, he kind of did. You know, we'll see. We'll see. He might, after hearing us, hopefully he'll say, you know what, I want to give my side of the story. So hey, you're welcome to do so.
There were some fans on his AfterBuzz page, on his Facebook page, telling him to come on AfterBuzz. So Tim, listen to your fans.
There you
Tell
go.
us the real deal.
Yeah, we'd love to talk to
And
you.
speaking of fans,
Yeah.
where can they find you, Krisily Kennedy?
You can find me on Twitter at Krisily.
And Instagram as well, right?
Yes.
And Kevin, we can see your movie March 8th, Adventures of Serial Buddies.
Go to adventuresofserialbuddies.com. You can go to Facebook, Adventures of Serial Buddies, and all the information for where it's playing will be there. And you don't just support us, you really support AfterBuzz because we need the help.
We do. Dorinda, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Lula Cherry Films.
And we didn't even get into predictions, so we do apologize for that.
Oh my God! Next week's gonna be amazing.
Oh, I can't wait.
He calls Chef Brian, the owner's like that. You little fat chef. He's the one to blame. And from Chef Brian, he thinks this should be the finale.
Yes.
It's supposed to be an unreal episode next week.
Yes, and if that is indeed the one that Chef Brian said it is, then John's gonna call in for that one.
Well, and finally someone got physical with John.
Oh, that's...
I've been expecting that for a while, but wow, it happened.
I thought it was going to happen at the Bro Bar.
Right.
But
no. I knew it was one of them, but I'm excited.
And, of course, find us here at AfterBuzz TV on Twitter, Instagram, and, of course, Facebook. Keep going to iTunes, rate and comment. Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back next week.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.